imagine you're teaching a 5-year-old on what is a defect and what is not a defect. Now, there's two ways of doing it. You can give it a bunch of grains, which has a mixture of defects and non-defects. And you can have this 5-year-old or this 10-year-old kind of figure out on his own, oh, these things look different because they have some spots, or they're discolored, or they look different. And these, is of a different class. And so they're naturally using, what is learned from previous examples, not just grains, but maybe based on textures and colors. They'll be able to separate out the odd men from the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, right? So now, can the system really do the same without having been taught specifically that this is a defective grain of wheat versus this is something not defective? And so, but there is a lot of science and research that is going into this unsupervised learning. And there is significant progress that's being made as well. But today, 95% of systems are in supervised learning, where you do have to give it some indication, because the demands on accuracy, the complexity in these different textures and colors and shapes and forms and things like that demand some form of supervised learning. Now, but what is happening though is what used to take millions of images is now dramatically reducing. You don't need millions of images to teach is a defect identification system anymore. You don't even need hundreds of thousands. You can even do it with as little as a few hundred. And there's technology that's actually going into it, transfer learning, image augmentation, synthetic data generation, GANs, AI, which is creating images. So you have a few images, and then there's this AI system which is creating more images, and then all these images are then fed to another AI system that learns from these images, right? And it becomes better and better. So, and pretty soon you will have systems that can learn from practically no images at all, without supervised images, right? I'm talking about segregated. By supervised, I mean you've labeled these images. And so the world is moving in that direction, right? And there's some very exciting research where we are kind of following here at Qualitas, which, we're keeping a close eye on things of what could be an emerging tech that we can adopt. Because at the end of the day, one of the bottlenecks is this labeling and teaching process. And we're really trying to bring down that barrier and reduce the bottleneck and literally have systems that can be up and ready in like a few days' time. So it's a great question, but I would say things aren't in that level of maturity yet, but don't be too surprised, if it comes down in a year or two.